Welcome to the Celestial Muse for this week, Monday, the 7th of October, 2024. It's a beautiful week. The celestial energy is always beautiful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the headline themes and why that matters to you and your success personally and professionally. And then I'll explain a bit more about where that's coming from. So we'll go deeper into the actual astrology of it all. So welcome. My name is Queen Rick, and I am here to help you combine the energetics that's around us, particularly celestial speaking today, and how that translates to your everyday. Because the reality is this energy is here no matter what. And sometimes energy is everything, and when you don't always recognize, but you can sense when you do or don't get on well with someone. You can walk into a room and feel that it's off, or actually it's perfect for you right now. Sometimes you can do the same thing, you can wear the same thing, you can turn up to the same place, and it just doesn't feel the same, right? Something's off. And when we talk about something off or something being absolutely on the money, it's the energy. So energy is everything, even to our cellular level, and everything bigger and beyond. And when you know how to work with the energy, it's like swimming with the tide, having the trade wind behind you, as opposed to pushing you backwards all the time. You're just making life easier. And there is definitely ages and stages of doing different things, like phases of when it's better to be really intense and maybe more inward facing. And then other times it's better to be on the front foot and more extroverted in what you're doing. And if you know what those are, then you've got an easier ride. It means that the energy is with you. It means that you can act at a higher level of energy. Your vibration is higher, which means that it's contagious in the nicest, best possible way. We all know what it's like when someone is in their power, shining their most vibrant, brightest self. And we want a piece of that. So this is kind of like how you harness that to do just that. And of course, when you are optimizing your energy, optimizing your vibration, that's what you get back. It is a beautifully divine way of working with the energy that's there. So you can go through life not knowing any of this for sure. But at one level, you do know what this is. You do know, you can recognize when energy is off. You do recognize when things seem to work absolutely perfectly for you. The stars are aligned. Or it's just like, well, I always do it that way, but why didn't it work for me that time? It's just understanding all of that. So I am here to help you with your ultimate highest success. It actually is just really having an awareness of what the celestial energy is and how that's affecting you, or how to work with it best. And if nothing else, this is just a series of reflective journaling prompts that will give you a new perspective, and that in of itself will help you raise your game. So let's dive in, shall we? So the themes this week, the themes. I guess the absolute headline is seek to understand for truth and mastery. It's a nice vibe, isn't it? Seek to understand for truth and mastery. Now that's kind of like the overall summary of lots of movement, lots of movers and shakers this week. Let's start with where we are today. So today we have Mercury in Libra, square Mars in Cancer. That might not mean very much to you. It might mean an awful lot. So let's make that a bit more easily accessible for everyone. What I'll do is I'll explain the planets and then where they are, their placement, and then what the aspect is, the interaction they're having with the other planet. So this is the beauty of it. This is why there is so much, and I don't do predictive. It's like predictive astrology. Other people do, and that's their domain. Mine is how to understand the energy and then how to set yourself up for success knowing that energy. So it's kind of the blend of astrology and psychology. That's how I work with my clients. It's that understanding how that impacts you, your subconscious, your behaviors, emotions, how you get the results that you're aspiring to, or how you improve the results that you're currently getting. That's what I do with this information, this insight, this intel. That's how I'm going to sort of flavor everything I talk to you about. But it does need a little bit of, it's a bit arm's reach if someone just rocks up and says, Mercury in Libra, square Mars in a Cancer. It's like, let's understand that a bit, shall we? So Mercury is all about communication, expression, cognition, tech, when we're talking all things business, and messenger of the gods. So if there is a message to be translated, it is for you, and it is coming from another celestial, another archetype that's speaking to you. It's got the ability to translate through the gods. And Mercury, of course, was the only god to be able to move in and out of the underworld. That is important because we have underworld featuring later this week. Mercury in Libra. So you may be familiar with Libra as a zodiac sign. And as all the planets are moving around, they move through our skies, they move through the constellations, and Mercury is in Libra right now. What does that mean? So Libra, if you have a sun in Libra, if you may refer to it as your star sign, it's technically sun sign. If you were born anytime between now and well, not born now, but if your birthday is the end of September through to the mid of October, then you have Libra sun sign. So that's very much about balance, very much about harmony, very much about justice and fairness, very much about relationships. And that is opposite Aries. So Aries is very much focused on self. It's very much focused on doing what you need to do in kind of a really beautifully naive, if we're going to look at tarot, it's kind of like the fool vibe, it's that not knowing, ignorance is bliss in a beautiful, beautiful way. Songs of innocence versus songs of experience territory. So Aries has that can-do attitude because they haven't been tarnished by people telling them they can't, or life lessons that says they can't do these things. So that's what I mean by self-focused and very driven, and that innocence to it. So we've got that vibe with Aries, but so therefore you can start to see a tension between Aries and Libra, which is that me and we. Libra very much about relationships, Aries very much about me, and we've got Mars. We haven't got Mars in Aries. We've got Mars in the Cancer, but Mars rules Aries. And so we've got the beginning, a very subtle tension of me and we happening there. Mars, god of war, strategy, drive, passion, masculine energy, very much about going for the goals and getting them. Beautiful in business. And that's set in Cancer, which is very feminine energy, very much homeward and inward facing. So just that actual placement, that's a little bit potentially uncomfortable for Mars. But there's this concept of getting to base camp. And there's that concept of being secure and safe. And from that, you can regroup and maybe have a different vista so that you can see what's happening on the horizon or where you need to get to, a new vantage point. So on first glance, it's a little bit, that might not work well, but actually we all need to press pause every now and then, and including Mars. So it's that kind of understanding that homeward, and there's a definite blend and beginning of a balance there, which serves the Libra time of year magically. So when we have a square, so we've got Mercury and we've got Mars in a square. And that's a little bit in your face. That's like squaring off at each other. So it's not outright aggro, but it is a bit, well, I'm going to look at you, you're going to look at me, and we're going to really intently see what each of us has got. That's the squaring off kind of vibe. So Mercury, very much cognition, very much thinking fast, talking, expression, learning. And then Mars, also very fast, pacey, driven. But we've got these other tensions of understanding relationship, balanced, a bit of a pulling back, a little bit of a pause, or just to go slower, to go faster. Does that mean in a business sense? Definitely now's the time to take stock of those plans and that strategy you put in place. And is it working? What insights are you searching for, seeking for truth and mastery? What are those insights that you need? Where is it not quite clear? What could you, if you just shimmied around a little bit, looked at a little bit different higher, or took a different angle, peeked out of a different window, what would you see that would help you right now? That's the invitation of that energy. Tomorrow, we have, so on Tuesday, the 8th of October, we have Mercury in a more supportive aspect with Jupiter. And we have Venus in a more supportive aspect to Mars. So tomorrow is going to be less of a prickly day. So we've still got those same vibes of Mercury. So insight and intel and understanding, cognition, messaging, expression, marketing, all of that is in the domain of Mercury. And now from tomorrow onwards, we're looking at how it can expand, how it can actually work for abundance. What are the limitless possibilities we have here? Jupiter vibe. And in terms of Venus and Mars, it's a beautiful harmony of masculine and feminine energy. Fantastic in this time of year, Libra time of year. It's about relationships, obvious relationships, but it's that blending of feminine and masculine energy. And that's always utopia when you have the harmony of masculine and feminine energy. This doesn't have anything to do with gender. All of us access masculine and feminine energy. And there's an element of free will and choice as to how we use more or less. There will be a tendency to potentially use one more than the other. But if you are looking at your business, you're looking at your own personal success, the balance is where the magic's at. So potentially asking yourself, where am I too much in my feminine? And would my success benefit from applying more masculine energy right now? And vice versa, or vice versa, should I say. So that's definitely a prompt to think through. How am I balancing my energy? Headline masculine, feminine, but also then how am I managing my energy, balancing my energy between self and others? Maybe that speaks to you about boundaries. Maybe that speaks to you about give and take. Sense of what's fair and what's right. That might be coming through for you as well. Now, Venus is all finance, money, worth, values, as well as beauty. And for me, that from a business perspective, I'd also go as far as talent, because talent is a currency, used to be a currency, quite literally. And in today's world, then talent is, in knowledge-based economies, it absolutely is a currency. So where is that being honored? Where is that valued? Where is that not valued? And how can that be appreciated or understood? Seek to understand the truth and the mastery in talent, in your values, in your worth, self and that around you, for your greatest achievement of your goals. Mars energy. That's quite a lot, just in 48 hours, to be fair. It doesn't stop there, though. On Wednesday, we have Jupiter stationing retrograde. So retrogrades get a bad rap in the press, don't they? Then and unnecessary so in my view. But that is where we're at. A retrograde is literally an opportunity to revisit, press pause, go over again, revise, recap, review, all of the re's when it comes to retrograde. And the vibe of Jupiter is very much growth, expansion, abundance, luck. It's a beautiful energy. And it's in Gemini. So that's again, kind of the duality, twins, fast learning, expression, talkative. That's all sat there as well. So we've got there's a lot of learning energy going on. We'll see that more towards the end of the week as well, with a slightly different perspective. So how are you learning? What do you need to learn? What do you want to learn? What would you benefit from going back over? Headline theme. And, in particular, what would you like to go back over to help you seek the truth and your mastery? I could stop it there. I mean, I like to explain and support to me to understand how things join up quite literally, and the sum is greater than the parts. But yeah, that's what do you want to revisit? What do you want to revise when it comes to your learning for your greatest good, your abundance, whatever that looks like to you, and whichever lens you're looking at abundance through. And what is your truth? What is your truth? How do you know what you know? So we take the mercurial aspect of everything here, and potentially the duality, that understanding that there's two sides to a coin, there's two sides to a story, and how important perception is when it comes to people's beliefs and therefore ultimately the way they feel about something and the way that they act. So that's kind of that's a much deeper angle to it. But taking on board, how do you know your truth? What is your truth? Where would you benefit from going back over? How are you basing any of your knowledge on assumptions? And if so, how can you test those? How can you get the confirmation, the validation that you need that you are standing in truth and your power? It is a bit of a cognitive squeeze for sure, this retrograde. It will last until February, so perfect Q4 forecast territory. But it is that it's a cognitive squeeze because it's going to be asking you, it's going to question you, it's going to challenge you, putting the mirror up to how you know what you know, and is that right? And that's where it's really prickly. That's where this retrograde is difficult. Towards the into next year, that's going to get harder from an experiential point of view, because we're going to get pulled from the Sagittarius and Pisces angle. That's Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces, and that's kind of like two levels of learning. There's kind of the higher mind, higher learning, depth of learning that you get through Sagittarius energy. Then with Pisces energy, it's very spiritual, esoteric. And so that's why you might be, different wherever you're at, your learning and your knowledge, your insights, your awareness of your truth will take itself to the next level, whether that's deeper or more esoteric. That's why it's a little bit of a squeeze. But right now, focusing on seeking your truth for mastery, go with that vibe. Okay, and then we have on Friday, we have Pluto stationing direct in Capricorn, 29 degrees. Now, I appreciate I possibly said again a lot of information or a lot of words that may not actually mean all that much to you right now. You probably understand Pluto, you probably understand Capricorn. Okay, so Pluto, god of the underworld, death for rebirth, transformation, power. Amazing. Capricorn, mountain goat, mastery, career, ambition, leadership. Not afraid of hard work, not afraid of that uphill mountain to climb. One step at a time, we'll go. Manifesting, can do the high level thinking and can get the job done one step at a time. Cardinal, we're going to get this done. Pluto has been in retrograde in Capricorn for a few months now, and it's direct as of Friday until November the 19th, auspicious day, until November the 19th, when it then moves into Aquarius for the next 20 odd years. It's a big move. 29 degrees or 0, 1 degrees, they are either end of the arc. And that's where the biggest impact of, how we feel in the biggest possible way, that energy transition. And then this is like Pluto saying, from this point going direct before it moves into Aquarius, so saying, this is your last chance, sweet cheeks, for understanding your mastery. And again, we're really going to speak to that truth, and we're going to speak to the systems and structures, your foundations, your grounding. Mountain goat likes grounding. Sea goat. I call it mountain goat. Climbing up the mountain is a sea goat. So we can transfer, from that's across, from depth of water to highest mountains. It's a big scale. That's ambition, and that is the leadership piece. It's the vision piece. It's but keep going, methodical. It's grounded, but with eyes up there, sight up there, should I say? So, where is your firm ground? How firm is your foundations? Are your foundations? And if there's anything that you've built up, so from your business, your personal brand, what you're doing, if there's any of it that's built on out of fear or scarcity, then that's what's being questioned by Pluto going direct in the 29th degree on Friday until 19th of November. Final fury, flurry, swan song, finale of Pluto in Capricorn. All about that mastery piece. So I come back to the overall headline for this week is very much about seeking truth for your mastery. There's harmony in there. There's a little bit of tension, but there's also harmony. There's a wish to very much evolve. There's a lot of power in here because I said Venus is in Scorpio. So when she's trining Mars, there's a power there. That's a very dark goddess vibe as well, which we won't cover here. But know that it is, that angle is supportive. That is a invitation to harmony. There is this stretch and invite for revisiting what does abundance look like for you? What is your growth? What is your expansion? How do you get that? The clue is through truth and mastery at this point in time, but understanding how that interrelates for you and the relationships you have with others. Very Libra point. That's of the moment. That me-we tension. And on that cusp of, there's chaos when planets move, when they transit, and the outer planets in particular, we're going to feel it. It doesn't happen very often. So we've got, that transition of Pluto going direct Friday. We're going to feel that. And then we're definitely going to feel the transition out in November. So it's this last attempt to look at that Pluto and Capricorn system structures, lessons learned, very karmic. What's got you here and what you need to do, who you need to become to get you where you're heading. So if you're halfway up, if you're at base camp, not even halfway up, if you're at base camp taking that analogy of the mountain and using that Mars in Cancer energy. We're at base camp, purveying, learning, assimilating information, cognizing, understanding insights, searching for the bits that we don't know, searching for the darkness, understanding our power, and then how we take our step forward and continue to ascend in truth. So there's a lot about authenticity, your truth, etc. Wonderful week. I'll be back next Monday and with the Celestial Muse for next week. And I wish you an amazingly audacious week ahead. Take care of you.